water on, you know? No? I don't think it is. Hello everyone, my name is Rodney Atkins.
I'll do a back straight for you, Mom.
I'm with CCS Cleaning System out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Working with Mr. Upton now for since April, I guess.
Yeah.
On these pieces of equipment. So I was just explaining these are the first of its kind. The high efficiency design, which is what all this mechanism is in production.
Make sure you talk back.
Huh?
Make sure you talk back.
Okay. And Henry can tell you that's normally not a problem for me. It was in production, but it was never built on a diesel unit. It was built on gas units. It was built on electric units, but never on a diesel, which is what we have here. So we'll go through the complete system, how the water flows through the unit before we fire it up. Then when we fire it up, we'll go through some safety items, questions, and then do some demonstrations. Are there any questions to this point? Is that where the hose go? That's where I put it for traveling down the road. I did not want to go down the road at 65 miles an hour. Alright, if you guys will step over this way, we'll kind of walk through that. The water entry point. You have two hose reels, your high pressure reel, your water reel right here. The water comes in here, out here, down the red tube to your entry point here. Goes in through this hose, up into this preheating radiator. It goes through, it's a double pass, so the water comes through twice, comes down this hose, and into your float tank. Now what's happening here is when you're running this burner, you know on some of the older machines they had the top exhaust or something like that where you put your hand up there and burn you, and it's going out into the atmosphere. It's being pushed through this radiator. So you're preheating the water to a certain degree. It's not hot. It's just a little warmer than it would be lukewarm coming out of the faucet. From there, you can barely see it, but coming out of this coil or out of this float tank, right back there at the back corner, through this hose, is where the water comes out at. It comes through this manifold, up this line here, right here, to the pump. Okay? It goes through the inlet side of the pump, through the outlet side of the pump, up through the unloader assembly, down past the unloader. This is a pressure relief valve. In case anything were the unloader or something else were not to work, this is a safety device. It would kick off before anything got damaged. Down through this line into the coil. It goes through the coil system, out, right here on the face of the machine. Okay?
Can someone grab this point over there?
Right there's your outlet. That's your high pressure outlet, so you got high pressure water coming down through the hose, and it goes all the way back, right around where we were, to your high pressure reel, up to this line, out to your gun. Okay? That's your water flow. But any questions on that water flow? I know I went through it real quick. I have some cutaways in the truck, and we can look through those a little bit later after here, because everybody wants to start and stuff. Yeah, and I understand that. So, where does the water get hot at? And it gets hot right here.
Okay. It's got a boiler just like the other one does.
Right. Yep.
Except that I think the other one's horizontal, right?
Now, how often does that plug up when it doesn't have to be plugged in? That's a good question. It depends on the fuel it's getting used, primarily. Your burner system way it burns, the cleanliness of the burn is based on two things: your fuel and your air mixture, and the cleanliness of your fuel. Okay, those are the three things that it does dependent upon. This air fan should not be adjusted. It's just like the fluid in your a fireplace at home. Somebody goes over here and starts messing with the fluid, you should be system a lot quicker.
Talk about the difference between the DC burners and the AC burners.
This particular machine is equipped with a 110 volt burner system. You have an onboard generator right over here. This is your generator. That's providing positive 110 volts of electricity to this burner system. The diesel, the 12 volt DC systems typically operate either off of a rectifier or directly off of a battery. So if there's any low voltage situations, you're not getting enough air, you're not getting, it's a whole series of potential issues that you have with the DC system. So with the 110 volt system, as long as that engine's turning, this generator's turning, this generator's pushing power to this burner system. So it's a 110 volt burner motor, and you've got your fuel pump, fuel solenoid, ignition system.
I've been told that the DC burners aren't as efficient as far as their light when they light off. The AC ignition is a little better, so it reduces the amount of soot.
That's right.
Is there like a recommended cleaning hours on these things though? Like every 500
From a soot
hours?
standpoint?
Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir. Your burner system, unless there's a problem, it should not soot. Okay, so if it starts burning dirty and you're starting to see smoke, there's a problem. You shouldn't see smoke out of these systems. Not any appreciable smoke.
Well, just initially when you key up, the system's going to be rich in low soot, and that's the issue that we kind of run into is because they key up, let off, key up, let off, key up, let off. So what happens is all that extra fuel soaks the matting up in there, and then it just clogs the system up.
Right. And you're right. Now, with this system, this is called a Genesis burner system. And what it does, you've got a flame detector in there. So when that flame...
It's like two little photo cells, right?
That's right. Well, one.
Right. It's the same thing as this is the exact same burner we have with our old system.
This is an AC.
Right.
Yeah, it's different. It's a little bit different. You're going to get fuel drip off of a horizontal system a whole lot more than you do off of a vertical. It's just the logistics of it. You know, your burner nozzle sitting in there like this is supposed to like this. Okay, so if that machine is tilted up just a smidge, your burner gun, and like I said, we've got some cutaways. It's about that long. Got a tube about that long by that long to the nozzle. So, and it's a quarter inch. It's full of fuel. Okay, so when you're triggering up, just like what you're saying, the fuel solenoid is what shuts that fuel down. So you've got a delay. You're exactly right. So anything that's in that line is going to trip. There's nothing to stop it. With this, your design element with standing up is a whole lot less potential. Not to mean it won't happen, but there's a whole lot less potential. And any other questions on flow or anything real quick? We'll go ahead and fire this thing up. Now put it through some phases. Let me talk real quick on the face of it before we do that.
The whole thing they should go through when they start up the checks and things that they should think about.
Okay. Right here you got your operation amp. You guys want to come around this side? Basically everything's going to be done from this standpoint over here. You got your key switch. You're going to turn your key switch. Let your glow plug lamp heat up and go out. Once it goes out, you're ready to fire. Okay? So you just turn it to the left, preheat, so the glow plug goes out, then you're ready to fire. Turn the machine on, let it build up pressure. Once you've got full pressure, then you're ready to engage your burner system. got a thermostat here. It can be adjusted to whatever temperature you're looking to achieve. Okay? You mentioned steam earlier. Okay? You have a steam valve. Now, let me explain steam. What happens with steam? In any type of burner system, it doesn't matter whose it is. This one, that one, Joe Blow's. How you achieve steam is you're cutting down your water volume. Period. That's the only way to do it. This machine's designed to heat 6 gallons of water per minute. That's what it was engineered for. So when I turn this valve, what's happening is I'm bypassing some of the water. Okay? I'm not pushing all the water out through the system. I'm bypassing a little bit back to the pump head. So instead of 6 gallons per minute, you're running more like 5. Okay?
Opti does 4.
Okay, so
Or 4.4 actually.
So by that, the burner's still trying to heat 6 gallons of water per minute. You cut it down to 5, so ergo you get a wet steam. It's kind of a steam. It's not a true steam vapor. It's called wet steam. Okay. Great for going oysters, filling stickers, stuff like that. General, average, day-to-day cleaning, hot water, high pressure. You're effectively cutting down what this pump can do by throwing this valve. And all you're doing is increasing your temperature a little bit.
Talking about green air plant. Plant this trucks for
What I would do, if it were me trying to clean that, I don't want to throw that grease everywhere. I would
pressure, turn up the steam.
cut down the pressure and just let the volume roll that grease off using the heat. Okay. All right. So that's your steam valve. It's labeled steam. This other valve over here is your soak valve, or your soak control. This panel here opens up. That's to get to the bottom side of your engine, fuel filter, all that. Okay. Now we also have to go through the startup stuff. So we'll go ahead and do that. Your nozzle systems, you got your 0, 15, 25, and 40. I don't know what your favorite is. My favorite's the 15 degree.
That's the one we use most.
Yeah, it's a tighter pattern, so you're getting the most impact out of per square inch with the 15. Some people refer to them as this is a blast jet. The green one, the 25 degree, is a wash jet, and the white 40 degree as a rinse jet. So I like to use the 15 degree myself. The red one. Best thing to do with that is take it off the machine, put it in a drawer somewhere so no one can get to it. Honestly. And it's very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Anybody that doesn't have steel-toe boots on, they'll cut right through them. Right through them. Okay? Skin, if you get penetrated, if you get impingement from this machine into your blood system, that's a bad thing. You're going to go to the hospital. You don't want that. Okay? Definitely not a toy. So I would take that nozzle off. I recommend this to all my clients. I take it off the door.
Gary?
Don't use the red one. Use the yellow. That's the one
Good
that
boy.
Gary used.
Alright. Any questions on that part of it? This box right here, well, let me talk about these lights. These lights here are your diagnostic, it's for diagnostic service control. You got your flow light, your temperature, fuel, and pump. Okay? So if you have a problem in any area, you're not going to have a light come on. So I come up to this machine, or someone comes up and reports, hey, I don't have any heat. You come up to it and look, well, yeah, your temperature's turned all the way down. Temp off, the temp light comes back on, you're good to go. Or your flow light's not on. Well, is your water on? Basic things. It's just there to help quickly diagnose what may be going on. This right here, everybody's familiar with these. Take a good look at it. This is a duplex receptacle. It's GOCI protected. I wish to heavens that they did not put them on equipment. Because everybody then, just plug my light set in here and on and on. It will, okay? It'll run a small light set. It'll run a small drill, something like that. It's really not designed for that. You're running off of that generator over there. I want that generator to be powering this burner. If you are running off of here, turn the burner off. Okay? If you've got to plug something into here because there's no other outlet that you can get to, plug it in, turn the burner off. That way you're getting full juice to whatever you're running, and you're not starving your machine like we were just talking about starving with your airflow on a DC voltage machine. Okay? Does that make sense? When, Bill asked me the question, it's in the technical manual, it talks about if you're pulling electricity off here. Now you know that. God, I wish that was sitting on there. It's there. It can be utilized. You do have the generator there that is pushing power up here. I really tell people, just don't use it if you don't have to use it. I mean, if you've got to, you got to. But if you don't have to, don't use it. But if you are going to use it, turn the burner off. Don't try to run the burner in this.
They couldn't use it for a drop light or something?
You can. And it will run it. But you're pushing. Why push it? You're pushing the margins there.
Right.
So you're pushing them way too close. If it was a 5 amp, that's one thing. But I don't know if he's a pretty big guy. He wants a 20 amp. He comes up there with 2 lights. He doesn't want just one. So it will work, guys, but I don't recommend it.
No, not our cell phone.
Yeah, don't try it. All right, as far as startup operation, main thing, first and foremost, make sure that you have water feed to the system. How do you do that? You come over here and check your float valve. Okay? It's plastic, guys. Don't come over here with a hammer. All you got to do is touch it. Just touch it. Got water. We're good. Go. Okay? That's all there is to it. Make sure you got water flow. First and foremost, you want water feeding into this machine. Okay? If you don't have water feeding into this machine, I can guarantee you one thing. It's not going to work. Okay? Get water feeding into the machine, check it right there. Get your gun assembled, get it ready. I typically like to go ahead and have it in my hand. It is not necessary. Okay, you can start the machine without having the gun in your hand. It's just the way I was raised on pressure washers. I've always got the gun in my hand, ready to go. Okay? With anything, this right here, this whole loop all the way down to where it hits the ground is a hazard. Okay? You really don't want this around whenever you're really operating this machine. You want this hose line flat on the ground. It's a tripping hazard. High pressure hose presents a tripping hazard. Okay? Plan out your work. Okay? You guys never heard that before, right? Plan out your work. Alright? Pull it out, get it set up, get it ready to go. Have it in your hand, start the machine. Alright? Any questions on that? Typically I start it without the nozzle in, just to make sure I've got good full flow through the pump. Alright? Once you have good full flow through the pump, pop your nozzle in, go ahead and go. Any questions on that? Turn to the left. Refund. system has a clutch drive on it. What that means, when you release the trigger gun, the clutch kicks out. Okay? So when the clutch kicks out, it just freewheels. The pump stops turning. Okay? Now what that does for you, it keeps this pump head cool. Typically with most machines that are not equipped with a clutch drive, the pump continues to turn. As the pump continues to turn, it's bypassing water in a circle. As it continues to bypass water in a circle, the longer it does that, the hotter the water gets. Okay? So it can do damage to your pump seals. With this system, you have that clutch drive, so when you release the trigger, it just freewheels. You lay your hand right here, and it's just cool as a kid. Okay? That's not something to rely on. So, oh, heck, it's got a clutch drive. I can just release it, leave the motor running, and go to lunch. Okay, just don't do that. But that's how the system operates. It's got that clutch drive. You can see it in there.
Does it have a ruptured in?
Has a thermal relief, pressure relief valve. So it's not. Some manufacturers do use a disc. We use actual valves right here.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is that rebuildable or is that just
And when you let off on the thing, this pump comes out. It's got a clutch in here.
You look right
It
here.
disengages. So you won't build up pressure for that.
You see right there, you've got a clutch drive system. Leave it that, or did you want to?
Like centrifugal clutch, right?
Oh, yeah. I see it. It's an electrical clutch.
Right.
Now, that's activated by the flow switch?
By the pressure switch, right. Exactly. Pressure switch
Yeah, these
controls
guys
this.
break it and I fix them. That's why I got so many questions.
Awesome. That's it. Pressure switch controls your clutch. Back switch controls your burner solenoid.
So you don't have to shut it down every time we need to turn it off or something.
No. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you're just moving a piece of gear with this machine, what was your name? Brian asked me earlier, said on his original training, they said 5 to 10 seconds. Don't release it for more than 5 to 10 seconds. With this, you've got a couple minutes with active, right? You don't want to rely on it. Exactly right. So glad to hear you say that. Yeah, you don't go to lunch, but if you're just moving a piece of gear, you're moving it from point A to point B, pull another one in, you definitely want to do that.
Get underneath the vehicle.
He might ain't been away. That's Gary's pen.
And Ronnie,
It's not broken.
he needs to figure out. Spare parts thing or something. Spare parts listing for you. We've also got catalog. Yeah, it's got to be the same.
And then we'll go through a couple other things. Brian, and that's Brian, right? He asked me just a minute ago, he said, how long can you leave this thing off? Because in his previous training session, you were told 5 to 10 seconds. Okay. A couple of things. And I also had a question about cooling it down. Alright. There's a couple of reasons for all of those things. And primarily it's heat on both sides, but in two different areas. When you release the trigger gun, as I talked about earlier, normal bypass. The system is normally bypassing. With this, you have the electrical clutch, it kicks out, the pump stops turning, the clutch freewheels. Okay? So the pump doesn't build up any heat because it's not turning. Alright? So you have a longer window of time. If you need to lay the wand down, go get this piece of gear, move it over in place, squeeze your wand back and watch, you're going to have it off for 2 minutes, something like that, go, you're fine. If you're going to break and go to lunch, pull the thing down, shut it down. Okay? The next item about cooling it down.
Right.
The pressure washer, any pressure washer is full. It's full of water. There are no air gaps. There are no spaces. None. So every cavity is slam full. So when you stop that water from moving, the water's not going anywhere anymore. You release the trigger, it stops sitting in that holding tank, in that coil system. You've been running, you're hot, you've got the machine hot. That coil, that pipe is red hot. Okay? That water is going to continually extract the heat from the pipe. Okay? As water pulls that heat out, it does. How? It expands. It expands. Because that water, as it gets hotter, water expands, right? You ever boiled water on a stove? Put a top on it, boil it, comes to a boil, what happens? The damn top goes off, right? Boil some noodles, get you some ramen noodles going, you got spillage everywhere, what's going on? And water expands as it heats. So the same thing's happening here, guys, right? Even if you cut it off. Alright, hey, we're done, let's go to Arby's, get some lunch, just shut the thing off. Walk away. Well, meanwhile you're building up 5, 10, 15, 16, 17,000 pounds of pressure in that coil assembly. That water's steadily pulling that heat out of it as it cools. Does it make sense? You understand? That's why they talk about cooling the machine down. You can get a steam explosion, gentlemen. I've seen it happen. I've investigated them. It's not pretty. All of these little screws all become shrapnel. Anyone standing around is subject to injury, if not death. Okay? Always cool down a pressure washer, hot water pressure washer. If anybody tells you otherwise, kick them in the tail, because they're lying. Okay? Always cool down a hot water pressure washer. It's a dangerous situation. Okay? That's why you do that. Alright? So, I hope that answers both questions. You're delayed when you're washing, you release the trigger gun. With this, you've got the little built-in safety. But, understand, it's not something to rely on. It's not something to go to lunch and not turn it off. It's just something to give you a little longer window of time. Okay? Any questions on that? Go ahead and unhook this one, hook the other one up, and run it. Yes, sir.
Is there any kind of special winterization process? Because it does get cold over there with all the wind and stuff.
Yes, sir.
When do these things need to be stored indoors? If during the spring and summer, are these things designed to stay outside the whole entire time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now what
They're
about
fine.
anything, about freezing temperatures, because periodically we'll hit this?
Yeah. What I recommend anytime it's going to be you suspect freezing is to winterize it by putting an antifreeze mixture through the system. The way to do that is pour antifreeze into this tank. Okay. Turn the machine on. You can put it into another holding tank, 30-gallon barrel or what have you, and collect it. So, like contractors, cleaning contractors are big ones for this. They got these equipment mounted on trailers. You can't pull them inside the house. They have to winterize them. They don't want to waste that antifreeze over and over each day. So they'll run it into a container, run it all the way through the system, through the pump, all the hoses, through the coil,